special occasion, the day immediately before Sri Krishna Janmastami. So let us read a verse or two or so from Srimad Bhagavatam. Very important literature, most important of all the Vedic literatures. I'm going to read the first canto, chapter 3, which is titled, Krishna is the source of all incarnations, and I'll read verse 28. But before I do, please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Yes, well, it's a very nice occasion. This is the day immediately before Sri Krishna Janmastami. So that'll be tomorrow, Monday. And I assume we have a program going till midnight or thereabouts, right? Great, very nice indeed. So just to kind of set the scene, let's read this verse. It's very suitable. First canto, chapter 3, verse 28, chapter titled, Krishna is the source of all incarnations. So the Sanskrit, Ete Changsa Kalapumsa, Krishnas tu Bhagavan Swayam, Indrari Vyakulam Lokam, Mridayanti Yuge Yuge, which means all of the above mentioned incarnations, because Krishna is the source of all incarnations is the chapter title. So this is verse 28. There's already been a whole list of different incarnations of Krishna. So all of the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. But Lord Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. All of them appear on planets whenever there's a disturbance created by the atheists. The Lord incarnates to protect the theists. Very interesting, isn't it? Yes, Lord Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. The Sanskrit for that is Krishnas tu Bhagavan Swayam. Yes, Bhagavan is basically the Sanskrit equivalent of the word in English God, basically. But, in at least in the Western scriptures, the name God is used, but in Christianity they also use the word Jehovah. That's like a name. God is like the title or position, you could say. In Judaism, I don't know if we have any Jewish people here. I suspect not, but they use the term Yahweh. Yahweh. It's a name for God. So in Sanskrit, the word Bhagavan literally means the possessor of all opulences, in full. Beauty, strength, knowledge, influence, all the different opulences that there are. So, of course, everyone has some beauty, some strength, everyone has some knowledge, but the Supreme Lord has all beauty, all strength, all knowledge. He's all famous, and various other things. He even has all renunciation, actually. Yes, so these are all considered opulences. And the term Bhagavan, well, Bhaga means opulences, and Van means one who possesses. So the Supreme Lord possesses all opulences, but his name, so to speak, actually he has unlimited names, but the most prominent name is Krishna. Krishna, literally Krishna means the all-attractive person. He who has all attractive qualities in full. And, yesterday we had a program in Randburg, and we mentioned about the film about this man, Oppenheimer, who invented the atom bomb, right? I don't know if any of you saw that. I heard it was playing along with Barbie. Interesting contrast, the atom bomb and Barbie. But anyway, so his name was Oppenheimer, wasn't it? And he, one thing he did, he studied Bhagavad Gita. Would you believe? He studied Bhagavad Gita. He actually knew it quite well, or fairly well. And there was when he actually got the first atom bomb to explode, then he quoted one verse from Bhagavad Gita. I'm sure it was in that film. I'm happy to say I didn't see the film. I don't really watch such things. But, Carlos, chapter 11, verse 32. When he saw that, up till that time in human history, there'd never been anything quite as, totally dramatic and, destructive. So he quoted this verse from Bhagavad Gita. Kalosmi lokakshaya krit pravriddha. Yes. Lokan samahartum iha pravriddha. Which means, kalosmi means time I am. I am time. Kala asmi in Sanskrit. Time I am. Lokakshaya krit pravriddha. And I have come, time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds. And lokan samahartum iha pravriddha. I think maybe battery's running out. Anyway, I have come to engage, or I've come to destroy all people. Yes, right. So interesting. Very interesting. Anyway, this verse we're looking at is describing Krishna. Oh, the needful. Right. How do we switch it on? There's the on. That's the on switch. It's definitely not on.
Yes.
This is our technical director. Sounds better, but it's not actually working. Haribol. We're going to knock over that water pretty soon. Normally we use the batteries till they just drop dead. Even if it's in the middle of a program, just let it go. Well, oops. Hang on. So, sounds more promising. Yeah, so anyway, Krishna, I was saying, Bhagavan means he who possesses all opulences. But his name or main name is Krishna. Krishna means the all-attractive person. He has all attractive qualities in full. And, I mentioned Oppenheimer, the atom bomb, and how he referred to that verse, chapter 11, verse 32. He would kind of carry the verse around with him. Yeah, so all attractive qualities. Some people are attracted to destruction. It's one thing, beauty, knowledge, love, kindness, these types of nice things. But some people are attracted to destruction and horror, isn't it? Horror films. In my day, it was Frankenstein and Dracula. But I think they've gone sort of further out than that. The Creature from the Purple Swamp, I think, was one. But now they have zombie movies. Oh, Krishna. Oh dear. Well, it's Kali Yuga. What can you expect? Craziness. But some people are attracted to those types of things. Krishna has all the attractive qualities, all the good ones, all the nice ones, like beauty, love, and these types of qualities, but all the other ones too, the horrible ones, because those qualities are attractive to some. Right. Whereas, we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama means the source of all pleasure. And that's an attractive quality. But, it's just pleasure as such. It's not like horror. It's just the pleasure, the positive things. So as a name or descriptive term for the Supreme Lord, Krishna is considered on a higher level as a descriptive term than the term Rama, which just means source of all pleasure, which is fine. Or Balaram, a week ago, right, or Monday this week, was Lord Balaram's appearance day. Did we have a program here also? Yeah. Bala means strength. Rama means pleasure. So he's the source of strength and pleasure. But there's a lot of other things other than strength and pleasure. But Krishna, when we refer to God as Krishna, it includes that name, that term, includes everything. Just everything, which is attractive, and everything is attractive to someone. Yes, so therefore this name or descriptive term, sometimes if you just give it a whack, it recovers. Not always, and usually temporarily. Anyway, let's see how it goes. Yes, so special attention is given to that name, Krishna, or the Supreme Lord in his form as Krishna, his all-attractive form. Yes, so there we go. And tomorrow is Lord Krishna's appearance day. Oops. I can't give it a whack every 30 seconds. Haribol. It's giving up the ghost. Excuse us. devotees and friends. Haribol. So we will do microphone prayers. Yes. Okay. So Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Bhagavan, as I said, is generally like the Sanskrit equivalent of the word God, a general sort of term, but generally in different traditions, they also have a more personal name, like Jehovah is more personal, it's not so much descriptive. Right. So this verse 28 of the first canto, chapter 3, let me just read the translation again. All of the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions or portions. Should we just resign ourselves to not using a microphone? It may be better than having it going on and off. Let's just, I will just shout. So, okay. All of the above mentioned incarnations are either plenary portions or portions of the plenary portions of the Lord. But Lord Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. All of them appear on planets whenever there's a disturbance created by the atheists. The Lord incarnates to protect the theists. Yes. So anyway, like I said, this verse, or like the verse itself says, is emphasizing or describing that Lord Krishna is Bhagavan Swayam. Not just Bhagavan, but Bhagavan Swayam. Swayam basically means something along the lines, it's like a term of identity, like the very one, the actual one, the real one, Bhagavan Swayam. He is the actual possessor of all opulences. Others have opulence. We have opulences ourselves. I'm sure many of you have bank accounts, and I'm sure some of you own houses and motor cars and maybe have some investments, etc. So these are all opulences. They're all opulences. But Krishna, he has all the opulences, in this case, all the wealth. All the wealth. You know, you might be worth, I won't ask you, but someone here may have, you know, a nice house, etc., a few investments, and might, as they say, might be worth 5 million rands or 10 million rands. Am I right? That sort of idea. Yeah. But I don't want to disappoint anyone, but your 10 million rands that you're worth, it's not even, what to speak of pocket money, it's not even peanuts compared to the wealth of Krishna, of the Supreme Lord. And whatever wealth you have, your 10 million rands or your 20 million rands, you know, you have 20 million rands, it's only about $1 million. It's not that much. Sorry to say that. But, you know, it's on loan from Krishna because he possesses all opulence. And sooner or later, he will take it back. Maybe when you die, or maybe something will go wrong financially in the meantime and you'll lose a lot of your money. It happens to some people. Yes, so it just means Krishna decided, hey, let me take my money back from this person. This is Krishna. So now, an interesting thing, very interesting thing. In the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 10th canto, it's 90 chapters, and it's basically like Krishna's biography. You can put it that way. In fact, that's what it is, actually. It's a biography of Krishna from his appearance, initial, people might say birth, but we would say appearance, from that right up to the end of his time here, or actually it's in the 11th canto that, his leaving this world is described. Shall we try again? We did microphone prayers. Let's hope your prayers work. All right. Okay. Sorry about that, everyone. Anyway, let's see how it goes. Right, so the 10th canto is more or less the biography of Krishna, although the final part is at the end of the 11th canto. But anyway, 10th canto is the great majority of Krishna's biography. Now, very interesting point is 90 chapters, but in the 89th, means second to last chapter of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, two very foundational subjects are discussed. First subject is, who is higher? Is it Brahma? Is it Shiva? Or is it Vishnu? How's that for a question? All of you from Hindu backgrounds. That's a pretty good question, isn't it? Interesting question. Brahma, Shiva, or Vishnu? Who is it? So that's discussed. Second to last chapter of the 10th canto. And then the second question is, who is higher? Vishnu or Krishna? Mm-hmm. So the first part then, the first sort of half of the chapter, who's higher, Brahma, Shiva or Vishnu, the story is, it's a really good story. There's a group of sages assembled somewhere, actually I forget exactly where, but somewhere by the Ganges, and they're discussing this very subject. Sort of discussing, but there are different groups amongst them who each group has their favorite. So some are saying, yeah, Shiva's supreme. Others are saying, no, Brahma is. Others are saying, Durga is. Others are saying, Ganesh is. Others are saying some other deities, these popular, well-known deities. They're each group amongst this bigger group, they're sort of promoting their particular deity. But they can't decide. It's just, back and forth, and they can't actually come to a conclusion. So they become a little, discouraged, you could say, and a little bewildered. What are we going to do here? So what happens is Brigu, one devotee actually, Brigu Muni, he's one of the sons of Lord Brahma. He volunteers. I will find out. I will find out. I will test them and really just see who they are, what they are, and who's on the highest level and who's not on such a high level. So off he goes. They all accept that, okay, you go and sort it out and come back to us. So off he goes. First he goes to Lord Brahma, who is his father. And in order to test his father, he does a very interesting thing. You know, according to Vedic culture, the old traditional culture, the father is highly respected, very highly respected. And the son and the daughter, or daughters or sons, at least every morning, they're meant to come and bow down in front of the father and touch his feet usually. That's just standard etiquette. It's just normal. So Brigu Muni, to test his father, Lord Brahma, you know what he does? He just walks in. He just walks in and sort of says, "Hi, Dad," or not exactly, but he doesn't bow down. He doesn't bow down. He doesn't offer any respect. He just walks in. Here I am. And his father, Lord Brahma, is shocked. Is shocked. I don't know how many of you bow down to your father every morning. Do you bow down to your father every morning? Do you? Not usually. Occasionally. Yeah, anyway, in this case, because it was like a social norm. It was just like completely the normal thing. Everybody literally does it. But here we have now the son, Brigu Muni, he doesn't do it. He just comes in very informally and starts a conversation. And Lord Brahma, his father, was shocked. Actually, he was kind of devastated at this, it's like unheard of display of disrespect and bad culture, lack of culture. So you know what Lord Brahma was going to do? Would you believe? He was going to kill Brigu Muni. He was going to kill him. Yeah, I mean, that's really, really extreme. But that's what he was going to do. But then his wife, Sati, she pacified him. That, look, you know, he's your son. He hasn't seen you for some time. He's just got very excited and he, you know, just kind of forgot about it because he's just so happy to see you. He just wants to be with you, so please don't kill him. So Lord Brahma agreed. All right, I won't kill him. And he didn't kill him. But Brigu is doing this to test him, to really get some insight into his character. And Brigu Muni understood this Lord Brahma, you know, he's a high-level person, but he's got some fairly serious shortcomings, like some pride, a lot of anger. So he couldn't be the supreme. So next he goes to Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva is his brother, because they're both sons of Lord Brahma. So he goes to Lord Shiva. And you may know, Lord Shiva, he often, not all the time, but often, he stays like in crematoriums He covers his body with the ashes of cremated human bodies. And he keeps a cobra around his neck. He keeps scorpions on his body. And he spends time, not all the time, but he spends time, he definitely does, with really low-class people, like ghosts, hobgoblins. In Hindi, what would you say? Pishach, is it? Pishach. Bhoot, yes, bhutas. These are like, really heavy people. And people who take drugs. Yeah, ganja, daka, and all these whatever else people take. Why does he do that? Well, that's an important question. He does it because Lord Shiva, one of his names, as it's also a name of Lord Chaitanya, in fact, one of his names is Patitapavan, means deliverer of the fallen, or like the degraded, very degraded people. So in order to help those people, he presents himself kind of like he's one of them. And so they'll be able to relate with him and appreciate him and maybe start following him. Because, he's extremely impressive. Yeah, so Lord Shiva, he often presents himself like that. Interesting point. Lord Shiva, it's described in the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. He drank an ocean of poison. There's this whole pastime in the 8th canto of the churning of the ocean of milk in the higher planets. They churned the ocean of milk, and all sorts of things came out. All sorts of different species came out, and medicines came out, and poison came out. These things kind of got extracted from the milk, the ocean of milk. So that was like the sum total of all poison in the universe. And it looked like that poison was going to damage the universe very severely, extremely dangerous. So Lord Shiva drank it. He drank it. As he's drinking, he cupped his hands, and he the poison came out, and he's drinking from his cupped hands. As he's drinking, some drops are coming out, and they were consumed by the original snakes. The cobras, the mambas, and all these very poisonous snakes. And just those drops that came splashing out were so powerful that they're passed on through the generations till today. And, I'm sure you're aware, these snakes like black mambas, incredibly poisonous. I saw a video actually of a lioness, which had been bitten by a black mamba. You can look it up on YouTube. Somehow I came across it. And wow, you should have seen that lioness. Totally berserk because of this poison. And then she just collapses, and that's it. And that was just a few drops. But he consumed the whole ocean. And you do get, some of you, those of you, if any of you are actually from India, not just descended from people from India, but actually from India, you would know. You get Shivites, like the Naga Babas. You know who the Naga Babas are? They're Shivites. They walk around completely naked with tridents. Heavy people. and they smoke ganja, daka, because they say, well, Lord Shiva does, and we're followers of Lord Shiva, so we do it. But Prabhupada made the point, it's such a good point, that Lord Shiva, before he smoked daka, he drank an ocean of poison, and it didn't harm him at all. Well, it just made his throat blue. Therefore he's called Nilakanta, blue-throated. But that's all. So Prabhupada said, if these Shivites want to smoke daka, let them drink an ocean of poison first. If they survive, they can smoke daka, no problem. And it just won't affect them at all. Okay, so anyway, there we were, Lord Shiva. Bhrigu Muni, next person he went to see was Lord Shiva, his brother, because they're both sons of Lord Brahma. And Lord Shiva, his brother, came running forward to embrace him. My dear brother, so happy to see you. But Bhrigu Muni jumped back. Get away from me! Look at you, filthy person. Your ashes of cremated human bodies. That's filthy. Just get away from me. And he's just testing him, that's all. He's just testing him. That's his whole idea, to really get some insight into the characters of these people. Because if you really want to understand a person, you've got to see them when they're under stress. When life is okay and all is good, you won't get much real insight into who and what is the person. Yeah. So yes, he jumped back and insulted him. Look at you, filthy person, and see who you are associated with, all these just ghastly characters. You're too much. And so Lord Shiva was going to kill him. But Parvati pacified Lord Shiva and said, look, he's your brother. He hasn't seen you for some time. Same sort of idea that Lord Brahma's wife said to Lord Brahma. So just relax, don't bother too much. So Lord Shiva cooled down. Then, and this is all there in that second to last chapter of the 10th canto. And then, so then he went to see Lord Vishnu. And he walked in. And there was Lord Vishnu reclining on Anantashesh, the great mystical transcendental snake, with Lakshmi Devi massaging his lotus feet. And he's Lord Shiva's kind of in a trance, not really externally conscious. And Bhrigu Muni, it's amazing. You know what he did? He just walked in and kicked him. He kicked Lord Vishnu, booted him in the chest. And of course, Lord Vishnu was suddenly aroused to external consciousness. And he very quickly understood, this Bhrigu Muni, he kicked me. But you know how he reacted? He said to Bhrigu Muni, I'm so sorry. I hope you didn't hurt your soft lotus foot on my hard chest. That's what he said. So sorry I got in your way. And he said, but thank you so much for letting your lotus foot contact my chest. Because up till now, my wife, Lakshmi, she will come no closer to me than my feet. But now I've got some sacred dust from your sacred lotus foot. Maybe now she will embrace me properly to get some of the dust. So thank you very much for that. How's that? And then Bhrigu Muni understood, wow, this person's just on another level altogether compared to Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. What do you think of that? It's interesting, isn't it? It's from Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the conclusion of all the Vedic scriptures. So in that way, Bhrigu Muni understood, he came to the conclusion, it was just completely clear. It wasn't like he had to figure things out. It was just like that. Whew. Lord Vishnu's just on another level altogether, completely. In terms of character, personal qualities. Yes, so that's the first half of the second to last chapter of the 10th canto. And then we come to the second half, which is now, examining this whole question. It's another very interesting question which bothers some people, even quite a lot of people. Who is higher? Is it Vishnu or is it Krishna? So what happens there in that second half of the second to last chapter is that the scene is Dwaraka, where Lord Krishna was living in the sort of later part of his time on this planet. So Lord Krishna is an adopted Gujarati. Are any of you Gujaratis here? There's a Gujarati. There's one there, that's right. Okay. Maybe Krishna's one of you, one of yours. Adopted, though. So right, the scene is Dwaraka, Krishna's living there. Krishna wasn't the king, he was a prince. The king was Ugrasena. So there they are, and Arjuna was there, sort of on and off. But at this point, Arjuna was there in Dwaraka with Lord Krishna. And so the Bhagavatam there describes that there was one young Brahmin couple, married couple, young people, a young man, young woman, maybe I guess in their 20s or something like that. And they decided they wanted to have a child. So they did. And they gave birth, the wife gave birth to a young boy. And they're very happy, very nice. All of a sudden, that young boy, not exactly that he died, he didn't die. What happened was he vanished. He just disappeared into thin air. Like half an hour or 10 minutes after being born, suddenly he was just not there any longer. And they couldn't understand it, they couldn't believe it, and they were shocked. After all that, I mean, you ladies, I know some of you know what it's like to give birth to a child, or 2, or 3. It's not a small thing, is it? We had neighbors who had 15 children when I was young. Anyway, okay. We would visit sometimes, and total madhouse. But anyway, yeah, after all that, 9 months or so, and the whole child, the actual birth, whew. And then there's the child, everything's okay, very good, but suddenly he's gone, vanished into thin air. So they're really upset. But they decided, okay, we'll have another child. So they did. Same thing happened. A matter of minutes after the child has actually been born, child vanishes, disappears. Not like kidnapped and obviously he's too small to run away, but just suddenly, bang, gone. So this happened 8 times. It's happened 8 times. Finally, no, it happened 9 times. Finally, they were so disturbed and distressed. They started blaming the king because, this is a very interesting point actually, if a country, say, is being properly governed, then no misfortune will come to any of the residents. If it's being properly governed, all the residents will be happy and everything will be fine in their lives. But if the government or the king or president, prime minister, etc., if they're not qualified, then you'll get all sorts of mishaps and disasters, crises, all these types of things happening, and people getting really hurt and disturbed and destroyed sometimes. So they concluded the husband, he was like a real scholar, and he understood what his karma was. If you're able, if someone knows astrology properly, sufficiently, and there's probably no one living who does, and if you know how to read a palm properly, and a couple of other sciences like that, numerological considerations, you can understand your karma. Yeah. You can understand your karma. So he could understand his karma. And he's looking at his karma, and he said, it is not in our karma to lose any children. So it's not something's wrong with us. Who could it be? It must be the king. So they became very angry with Ugrasena, who was the king, and Krishna, who was one of the princes. Very angry. They're blaming them. This is why. It's because of your shortcomings, your failures, that we're losing our children. So when they became angry with Krishna, Arjuna, who was there, he was not happy. He was very unhappy. So he went to that couple and he said, you know what? Have one more child, 10th child. I will personally stand here. And when the child is born, if someone, even some sort of magical, mystical person comes to take the child, I'll be able to see them, I'll kill them. And so your child, you'll keep your child. And if I can't, I will personally build a fire right here outside your house, light it, sit down in the fire, and be burnt to death if I can't protect your child. So they agreed. So, yes, fast forward 9 months or so, and now the child is about to be born, and then the child is born, and there's Arjuna with his Gandiva bow, very powerful bow with arrows, and he's ready. He's like a powerful warrior, professional. And you know what happened? Nothing. The child didn't disappear in the first 10 minutes. About an hour later, the child disappeared. Arjuna's saying, yeah, right, everything's okay, see? I'm here, I'm on the job. So your child's okay. But then suddenly, child was just not there. So Arjuna said, okay, that's fine. Started building a fire. Then Lord Krishna came. And Lord Krishna said, hang on, you know, what are you doing? Arjuna explained about the 9 children and now the 10th child. And Krishna said, listen, I will help. Come with me. So they flew through the universe. This is all in the second to last chapter of the 10th canto. You read it yourselves. They flew through the universe and they arrived at the abode of Mahavishnu. And Krishna, with Arjuna sort of behind him, Krishna approached Mahavishnu and said, listen, you've got the children of that Brahmin couple, haven't you? And Mahavishnu said, yes, I have them, all 10 of them. You want them, you can take them. Krishna said, okay, I'll take them. But then Krishna said, why did you take them? Why did you do that? And Mahavishnu said, I did that. And listen to this, devotees. This is the crux of the matter. I did that because I wanted to see you. And I know, you're so kind to the Brahmins that if, this Brahmin family gets distressed enough, you will intervene and come to me and take their children back for them. So I did it because I knew you would come sooner or later. Yeah. And he says, actually, I thought you would come the first time, but it was only after the 10th time. But anyway, I wanted to see you. Now I've seen you. Take the children back. So Krishna did. So now, this is where it becomes a little complicated, but extremely interesting. The fact that Mahavishnu did that because he wanted to see Krishna, what does it mean? It means Mahavishnu normally cannot see Krishna. Yeah. Even Mahavishnu cannot see Krishna. He had to make some like this, very extreme arrangement to see Krishna, and finally he saw Krishna. And Prabhupada, if you read in the Krishna book, at the beginning of chapter 90, I'm giving you a little homework. You can study yourselves, and you'll see Prabhupada's explanation based on the explanation of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, that Mahavishnu he did it because he was so eager to see Krishna. Means otherwise he couldn't see Krishna. But he must have not sent people to kidnap those 10 children. He must have gone himself. Because, to attack Dwaraka like that, ordinary people can't do that. So he must have gone himself. And he kidnapped all those 10 children. So he was in Dwaraka. And he's doing it all because he wants to see Krishna. Why didn't he just walk in and see Krishna? Because Krishna was there. Krishna was living there. But he didn't do it. He didn't do it, but he couldn't do it. He was not able to enter. Yeah. So, Anyway, this whole, let's see. Here's another interesting point. Mahavishnu said, I knew you'd come. I expected you to come the first time, but it took 10 times. Because you are Brahmanya Deva. Brahmanya means of the Brahmins. Deva means the Lord, the God of the Brahmins. So I knew if this Brahmin couple was suffering enough, eventually you'd come because you're the Lord of the Brahmins. But Krishna didn't come the first time. it was only the 10th time. But he only came the 10th time because Arjuna was going to commit suicide by like self-immolation or whatever you call it, by burning himself to death. So it was only when the devotee was in distress, then Krishna intervened. Otherwise, 9 of them were already gone. Krishna didn't do a thing. Krishna was there. So, after losing each of his sons, the Brahmin would come to the gate of the palace and accuse the king of not being able to give the Brahmins protection and thus being unfit to sit on the throne. So there's reasons like this. So, if Mahavishnu can't see Krishna, then how was Krishna obliged to come before him to appeal? Can you please give back the sons of the Brahman? So the answer to that is, well, we mentioned, it wasn't for the Brahmins, it was for Arjuna, because his devotee was in need, therefore Krishna came. If Krishna was going to see Lord Vishnu only to reclaim the sons of the Brahman, Prabhupada says, he would not have waited until the 10th son was taken. So there you go, devotees. This is the logic or part of it. If you read that 90th chapter of the Krishna books, you'll see Prabhupada gives, there's a few more sort of arguments that he gives. Yes. Anyway, Lord Vishnu, Hare Krishna. So therefore Krishna is on a higher level than Mahavishnu. And it was only, if you get the idea, it was only by the mercy of the devotee, Arjuna, that Mahavishnu was able to see Krishna. If that hadn't happened with Arjuna, Mahavishnu would never have been able to see Krishna. Because to see Krishna, that's not an ordinary thing. It's not even a special thing, it's just like super special thing. So he was only able, and in general, we are only able to see Krishna, be Krishna conscious, chant Hare Krishna, by the mercy of the devotees. Actually, And in our cases, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Otherwise we'd be lost in the great jungle of Pretoria. Yes, so that. So there you go, Hare Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's higher than Lord Vishnu, who is higher than Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. And he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And tomorrow is his, we don't say birthday. Of course, the term is Janmastami. Astami means the 8th day of the moon. And Janma means birth. So we actually call it his birth on the 8th day of the moon. But in English we use the term appearance. He appears in his same original form. Not like us. No, we have our forms, we have our bodies. Look at this one. There's another one. There's another one there too. We have these bodies, but we are not these bodies. We're eternal spiritual persons. And we've all, every single last one of us, we've had a number of bodies before we got this one. And what was our previous one? Any suggestions? Well, we don't know. Because in each species of life, practically the main or one of the main things that the living entities are focused on is the relationships with the opposite sex. It's such a prominent feature of life in this world. So prominent. And we take our next birth, in terms of what we were most attached to in the course of, the life which may have just finished. So therefore, there tends to be a sort of, you could say, zigzag progression from male to female to male to female, male to female, based on what the person is, their major, or one of their major preoccupations. So who knows? A fine young man like you. What is your good name?
Keshav Kripa.
Keshav Kripa, that's right. And a fine young lady, what's your name?
Subhadra Manjari.
Subhadra Manjari. In your previous life, we don't know, but it's quite possible you may have been in a female body and you may have been in a male body. It's not unlikely, but here we are. And if we showed you a photo of you in your body in the previous life, say it's a male body, and we say, look there, it's you. Then you're going to say, no, it's not. Got nothing to do with me. You get the idea. So we have these temporary bodies which we identify with. And often, like I said, male to female, maybe not always, but often. But Krishna comes in his original body, his eternal form. And he doesn't accept one of these foreign things, these material bodies. And therefore we worship Krishna, because he is completely beyond material existence. We worship Krishna. Krishna appeared in this world approximately 5,000 years ago. We don't get into it in great detail. One of our devotees did a calculation that he feels, according to the astronomical calculations, the positions of the stars and constellations, he concluded that Krishna appeared in the year 3268 BC. Maybe. Because, like now, they can predict when the next eclipses are going to be. Because it's just the science of the movements of the stars and the constellations. It's not difficult, actually. So by working backwards, because we know what the positions of the different constellations and so on were the day Krishna or the night Krishna appeared. So like this, they've done a calculation, 3,268, I think. But we don't really bother with trying to be precise about it. So we just say about 5,000 years ago. That's enough. Let's not stress about it. So Hare Krishna. I hope that wasn't too far-fetched for too many of you. Anyone have a comment, question, anything they'd like to say? Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
There's a statement in the Bhagavatam that says, one cannot attain such intense absorption in Krishna by devotional service than one can by enmity towards him.
Yeah.
So
You're suggesting we should develop enmity towards them.
No, it seems the emotion of enmity is more powerful than...
Well, it's very intense. I mean, I think we've all got a bit angry from time to time, isn't it? Someone stole your samosa. The last samosa and you got it. And someone stole it. Wow. But you know, that's Narada Muni is saying that. It's quite a famous passage. And it's just sort of, it's not like an absolute statement of fact, that actually you can be more conscious of Krishna if you're angry towards him than if you develop love for him. It's just he's sort of musing to himself. He's just thinking himself. He's not trying to establish like what is spiritual fact, like that. So he's saying that, what he's saying in effect is like, it seems to me that sometimes it may be that sometimes people, when they're angry with Krishna, they are more focused on him than others who love him. But he's just sort of ruminating. He's just thinking about it. He's not trying to clarify truth from untruth. There are a few things in the Bhagavatam which are like that. People might think they're true. Or in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, right towards the end, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, he's explained everything to Arjuna. Lord Krishna says, okay, I've explained everything to you. Now you can do what you like. So it's not exactly that he's just saying, go for it, as you like, do it. He knows that Arjuna, having heard all these things, he will decide to do the right thing. But he's just showing that I'm not trying to force you. You decide. But I've given you so much information that you'll naturally just do the right thing. It's not going to be like a decision like, what should I do? There was one man met with Prabhupada once, and he said to Prabhupada, Bhagavad Gita is so wonderful. I love Bhagavad Gita. He actually said, I am liking Bhagavad Gita too much, which is a lot, too much. And particularly where Krishna says, hey Arjuna, now you've heard everything from me. Now you can just do whatever you like. Which is not the right idea. Yeah. Like at the end of the 6th chapter, Yogi Namapi Sarvesham, Lord Krishna explains which category of yogi is the topmost category. The devotees, the bhakti yogis. And then Krishna says, Same yuktatamo mataha. This person, this type of yogi, is the highest, in my opinion. Mataha, my opinion. So he's not exactly saying that, yeah, it's my opinion. You can have your opinion. Someone else can have their opinion. No problem, but this is my opinion. It's just that Krishna sometimes presents himself like that, not in a sort of dictatorial way, but in a very heartfelt and humble way. And this is my opinion. So when the devotees hear Krishna say, this is my opinion, then the devotees know that, oh, this is the truth. This is the reality. But Krishna is a gentleman. He's not one of these heavy, dare I say, Donald Trump types. They try to push things down your throat. He's a gentleman. and he respects our individuality. Is that okay?
Thank you.
Yes, loud and clear.
Thank you, Maharaj, for the class. What can I do, please, in order to get the mercy of the devotee so that I may one day maybe see Krishna?
What can you do to get the mercy of the devotee or devotees so that in the future you can
Maybe see Krishna.
see Krishna? Yeah. Well, you know, you have to. We are following Srila Prabhupada. He's like showing the way, the path, revealing the path. So we have to practice Krishna consciousness as described by Srila Prabhupada. Yeah. And not make up, you know, that, well, I think I'd like to do this or that. No, we should just follow what Prabhupada said, because he is the devotee. He knows Krishna. He knows what Krishna wants. So if we do what he says, then we'll be able to approach Krishna in due course. That's the main thing. Yeah. Otherwise, in a general sense, we should try just generally to serve the devotees. Those who are devoted to Prabhupada, those who are devoted to Krishna, we should serve them in ways as described by Prabhupada. So you put all of that together, directly serving Prabhupada, following his instructions, and serving those who are following him. And before you know, one day you'll wake up and you won't be in Pretoria any longer. You'll be in Goloka Vrindavan. And we'll have another ISKCON Pretoria in Goloka Vrindavan. Yes. ISKCON Church Street, right? Or it was. Hare Krishna, ladies, you know what they told me? You know what they told me? They said in Pretoria, the ladies are highly intelligent devotees. And they got lots of questions. Anything anyone would like to bring up?